So next is Information and Telecommunication Systems Business, Representative Executive Officer, Executive Vice President, and Executive Officer, Mr. Yutaka Saito. Good morning. Thank you very much for coming from early in the morning. So I would like to talk about the strategy of Information and Telecommunication Systems Business in 15 minutes. First of all, is the market environment and target position. The current IT market overall is slowing down. On the other hand, global competition is intensifying. The domestic IT service is recovering now, but in the world, the shift to services, expansion of collaboration with participation in different industries is starting to seen. So IT hardware vendors have to make a paradigm shift. Now, IT is utilized as tool to shift to upper level. From service point of view, construct various businesses is now underway. So digitization is now accelerating, and IT positioning is changing accordingly. Social innovation is IT infrastructure that we are promoting. So our IT staffs will utilize our group knowledge to reconstruct the business once again. So that is the period that we are entering. Now, in the world, the exchange rate is fluctuating. So yen, strong yen is now turning to weak yen. And we are pursuing global business. And we need to take this into account. Now, and social innovation business, IoT market, industrial internet, industrial 4.0 is now underway. So in industry, infrastructure is being utilized more actively. And so we need to cooperate and compete with a variety of players. Now, target position on the right side. Our information unit is on the left edge. So we will grow our social innovation business and grow our business too to become the global major player. So we will continuously work with the group towards that goal. Next, please. Next, please. This is 2015 midterm management plan progress. Roughly speaking, revenue and profit are increasing, but compared to the initial target, it is not growing as much as we thought. 2014, 2,032.1 million and 116.2 billion yen operating income. We were aiming for 230 billion, but we had to revise downward. 2015, 2.1 trillion revenue will be the target. However, operating profit, because of various investment and business restructuring, we will aim for 140 billion yen. And overseas revenue ratio and service revenue ratio are progressing as scheduled. Next, please. Now, this is the 2015 difference from previous forecast. As I mentioned earlier, 200 billion yen was the target, and operating income 9.5%. So we have difference of 60 billion yen. And the big reason is the domestic telecommunication network business, various investment is decreasing, and so the revenue is decreasing. And the server and software in Japan, demand is shrinking, and so domestic side is a drag. On the other hand, transportation and power, the social infrastructure, profitability improvement is delayed. And social innovation business is trying to be global. This global investment is increasing, and we are not collecting the investment just yet. And so we are going to target 140 billion operating income. Next, please. Now, summary for fiscal year 2013 and 14. Basically, service revenue is steadily increasing. And large SI projects are winning, are acquired. And the project problems are now being resolved. So the profitability is improving. And Southeast Asia and global service business, including M&A, is now pursuing. And so the revenue is growing steadily, and we are starting to solidify the base. In social innovation business, various investments are taking place. And the reorganization will be talked about later. This is being implemented. On the other hand, service-oriented platform is the way to go. So Pentahol was acquired the other day. We acquired Pentahol. And we will strengthen the big data utilizing platform. In issues I mentioned earlier, overall, revenue increased, but the profitability for global competitiveness is still not enough. The market change is rapid, and so we had some delays in taking measures. So in 2015, we will pursue structural changes. Now, these are the factors for change in performance, revenue, and operating income. Revenues. As you see here, exchange gain was a factor, but on the other hand, the SI service revenue increased. Domestic platform deteriorated, but we exceeded 2 trillion yen. In 2015, exchange gain and SI service revenue increase, 2.1 trillion yen is our plan. Operating income. Last year, 106.5 billion, but we had some exchange gains. Improvement in large unprofitable projects and SI services revenue up. So we were able to increase significantly. But on the other hand, domestic platform deteriorated and social innovation business investment. So 116.2 billion. Fiscal year 2015, we have some continuing projects. And we will improve the low profitable projects. HITACE, Hitachi Solutions. The structure has changed, so we will make the improvements. And structural reform started middle of last year. We will try to reap the benefit from there, plus 10 billion. And SI and service revenue up, 19.8 billion. And social innovation business will be plus 10 billion investment. However, 140 billion is our plan. Next, please. Now, business policy and vision. Basically, as you see at the bottom, we will do selection and concentration with order to continue expansion. And the social innovation business and the high profitable service business will be expanded. So this business portfolio will be executed. And so the foundation domain will shrink, but we will grow the growth domain. And to do that, we need to realign the global formation and force through cost structural reform. So this is going to be executed going forward. 2015 plan was towards more to the right originally, but because market is changing rapidly, we have just started this effort. We need to accelerate our action. Now, this is the social innovation business expansion policy. In more detail. Basically, social innovation business. This is to cause innovation in this society. So, infracentric point of view innovation. And customer, end user point of view. Healthcare, for example. So the service-oriented point of view. We have information unit, big data utilization platform. We will have build these platform to cause innovation with the platform and collaborate within the group and shift to service group. So the group-wide collaboration, we have established the Symbiotic Autonomous Decentralization Promotion Division in April so that we will be establishing the platform on a group-wide basis. And we are enforcing Social Innovation Business Promotion Division. I was a CEO, so Otsuki-san is now the top. So we will collaborate to collaborate with Global Social Innovation Unit to utilize big data to meet the IoT needs, come up with a service model using IoT. So that is our effort right now. Now the information unit will be customer-centric from smart point of view. Smart information system will be enhanced. This team will collaborate with other teams in the group, and like GE predicts these service platforms will be utilized to come up with solutions. And another is healthcare. People's movement will be tracked to develop service. This is information-oriented, so this kind of business solution will be developed and deployed. And IoT. IoT platform dedicated team will be an important information platform. So they will collaborate with the control teams. So IoT solution platform will be developed. We will do this first in Japan and work with Hitachi Data System to go global. Now, this is the expansion in the social innovation business, our business base. As you see here, front, the consulting, social sales and consulting, and service integration, and analytics platform, which supports that. Up to 2014, the upper Celerant, the consulting by industry sectors and big data analytics knowledge utilization were acquired, like Celerant. And the IT services in emerging countries, SAP Cloud Services, were acquired. Companies were acquired. And in power, we worked with TEPCO, Hitachi Systems Power Service, to provide the service for industrial sector. In analytics, Pentaho was acquired to utilize the big data. Now we have a good platform in place. In fiscal year 2015, we will execute priority investments to expand social innovation business. And social innovation business is a group-wide investment endeavor. And so we will work with the Hitachi Group to expand the business, leveraging the acquired companies. From fiscal 2013 to 15, the total investment is 220 billion yen. Next, please. Now, this is the social innovation business expansion, global expansion. Up to last year, HDS, Hitachi Data Systems Jack Domel, has become the top of North America and established a social innovation unit in April. Hitachi Consulting, Hitachi Data Systems, and related units are consolidated. Japan's social innovation business department will collaborate so that we can promote this business. This team with Pentaho and Big Data Lab will work together to come up with a common platform, common basis. And we all have POC to establish the solution. The North American model will be used in Hitachi Data System and Hitachi Consulting. We have 13,000 personnel, so we will deploy this to the HR and change the HR portfolio to expand the global business. Next, please. On the other hand, this is the foundation, the system solution business in Japan. Basically, Hitachi Solutions is reorganized for finance and public and social system sectors from April. And in October last year, the power and transportation sector from infrastructure system company was transferred to information and telecommunication systems company. So the business going forward will be frontline customers, various interface, the POC up to monozukuri. People have to be well versed. Otherwise, we cannot make good innovation proposals. So vertical integration, we will have various types of people and develop people with various capabilities. So the vertical integration will be integrated so that we can have roles and responsibility in a more horizontal manner. So from monozukuri to frontline, we will integrate and have people who know the overall picture and come up with innovative proposals. So we are trying to change the human resource portfolio. So these will be the core to first deal with domestic projects to begin with. Next, please. System solutions business. highly profitable services business expansion. Right now, the services that we have now are IT-centered, cloud-based cloud provision. But the big data utilization platform, the innovation platform service business will be promoted more. And non-IT domain will also be included. And the industry common and specialized cloud services will also be provided. This O&M cloud, operation and maintenance, the business part, and the asset utilization. So we will try to provide the cloud appropriately and change the service accordingly. With TEPCO system, Hitachi Systems Power Service was established. That's one example. So this is the kind of service we'd like to provide. And furthermore, in India, payment service company was acquired. So social innovation service will be acquired so that we can deploy these services. So customers' problem-solving type proposals will be made. So from the bottom to top, you see an arrow. In the traditional IT service, from IT, we will take in various knowledge and turn them into service. We will use Hitachi's knowledge and turn them into service. So that is the type of service development we would like to achieve. Next, please. Platform. Left side is service and products, the current platform, as we do have now. The platform from traditional server, storage, network, software, the platform that we need to realize a service, to realize innovation. There will be a shift to that kind of platform. So we need to restructure ourselves, and the people in the product business, people focusing on products, will be shrunk, reduced, and the innovation service platform team will be increased, enhanced, so that we can utilize IT for innovation. We will expand this to service business. So that is our portfolio transformation. When you look at this service platform, you may wonder what this is. It's like Predix of GE's Predix. That's the kind of service, the platform, that Hitachi would like to have inside with affiliates and partners and other companies, and use that as a basis to deploy our service as IT. Next, please. Now, structural reform. 2014 was tens of billions of yen. Now, high value through software and focused development on distinctive function, and build services platform for Hitachi Group's social innovation business, building platform, and strengthen global business. In the traditional business, we will do selection and concentration and reduce where we have to, and optimize the business in Japan. And for domestic business, we will try to have an optimal form. And the business structure on the bottom, 2014, we had the product business and server storage. It was 65-35, the breakdown. But we will reduce this product business by 20%, so it will be 4-3-10. 4-3-1. Next, please. Global business. The colored part is social innovation business related area projects, or the actual businesses. This is done on a global basis, but it's mainly centered around Americas to set up the model and consult storage platform teams. The HR portfolio will be transformed so that global social innovation structure can be established. So that's our focus in 2015. Global sales, 2015, 760 billion yen. So this will be up by 100 billion yen. And with that, the overseas personnel will increase. But there will be some changes inside. Replacement of personnel. Social innovation, business investment is incurred. Next, please. Hitachi Smart Transformation Project, SDP. Cost reduction efforts. Effect was 222.5 billion in 2015 and total 65 billion yen. Cash generation, SG&A costs are going down steadily. However, the effect here is being eaten up in other areas. So that's why we have the result that we showed you earlier. Cash conversion cycle is similar. 62.2 days, so we are improving. Next, please. Next, please. This is the performance trend. Amount of orders received at the top. 2014 was 2.1 trillion yen. In 2015, we want more. Service revenue ratio, 65% and above. And overseas revenue ratio, 36%. Blue is revenue. Yellow is operating income. And green is EBIT. So you can see the increase. But we want more. We want to realize more. Next, please. Now, this is by segment. Performance trend by subsegment. The old and the new categorization are shown. We had some structural reform. So information and telecommunication is taken in. So this year, system solutions, platform, 2 colors. And the breakdown is, as you see here, revenue and operating income. Next, please. Lastly, conclusion. 2015, 2.1 trillion yen or above. And overseas revenue ratio 36%. Operating income, bottom is 140 billion minimum. Our business portfolio is being transformed. It's a very important timing. So we would like to implement our measures and establish a business model with earnings power and generate steady earnings by completing our business portfolio transformation and generate profitability without fail. That is all. Now, we would like to take questions. In addition to Saito, Masahiro Kitano, Senior Vice President and Executive Officer, and Senior Vice President and Executive Officer, CEO, System and Services Business of Keiichi Shiotsuka will also answer questions. So, person at the front, please.
Goldman Sachs.
Question. I have 2 questions. First, if you look back 3 or 4 or 5 years, the information telecommunication systems business, unfortunately, not just the medium-term target, but failed to achieve the initial target. Looking at IT dedicated companies, this was not the trend in other IT companies. So you mentioned transparency and simplicity at the beginning. Looking at the situation Hitachi wants to achieve, it does not sit well. So was there a problem with the way you manage your business? You've done many acquisitions. So I am a little concerned whether you can manage this sufficiently. So from that perspective, how do you look at the past 3 years? So that's my first question. Next question is the profit and loss for this fiscal year. So 10 billion yen structural reform effect. What is this? Could you elaborate? Cost items, what will decline? Which cost item? Or in the traditional products and services, what improved to realize this 10 billion yen, please? Thank you. Answer. I'm sorry, but we set the goal and we failed to achieve the goal. Initially, 2013, up to 2013, we had some project glitch or digressed from the plan. And that's why we tried to reinforce our project management capability. And so that's the difference. Now, fiscal year 2014, as you saw in the waterfall chart, we did not have a good forecast, but 20 billion was the project decline, deterioration. We could not forecast that at the time of the budgeting. There was a margin. So I thought 120, 130 billion. And the domestic platform in the initial plan was the same as the previous level, and domestic platform sales was also the same level. That's what I thought, but this went wrong. So we had margin, but we could not realize the numbers. This was fiscal year 2014. Now, management. It's difficult to explain, but the internal transparency and the industry's movement, we should be understanding the industry trend, but we could not share this within the group, I think. Fiscal year 13 and 14, I was the CEO of Platform Division. And what I was trying to do back then was the business restructuring of the platform teams, centering on HTS on a global basis, to change the mindset and the portfolio, service platform, shift to service platform portfolio. And I thought we will be okay in Japan, but that was not the case. I have to reflect on myself. Now, fiscal year 2014, at the end of 2014, we understood where we are, where we stand. So Kitano-san came to work on full-time basis to reform the domestic business. So we changed the management. Now, fiscal year 2015. This is where we are. Next is about M&A. There are things that worked well, things that did not. And there are two in my place. Once we failed or did not work well, it's not included here, but China. We took measures and we realigned ourselves. And we tried to consolidate to the areas that can work this out or have the capability to do so. But PMI, becomes difficult unless we can take quick response. And we are often said that we are delayed, we are late in response. And so maybe starting now is a little too late, but we are starting to take measures. 2014 was 140 billion. Margin, we have more than 10 billion yen margin, but this is where we are. Now, 10 billion, you may wonder what this is. It's rationalization, streamlining. So 10 billion yen, one is telecommunication and another is product business, platform business, structural reform. We spent 10 billion yen for that to reduce 10 billion yen. We started this telecommunication part last fall. Server storage software started this April, and we will complete this by the end of first half so that we can start seeing results. So it's a rationalization. So we can come up with numbers and see if this follow up and see if this is working. Thank you.
Any other question? Then the gentleman in the middle. Question. I have two questions, in fact. page 17, about company structure. In the total for 2014 was 100, but for 2015 it's 80. The total is 80. This is just an image, but 180. What are you trying to indicate here? Can you be more specific? So that's my first question, and the second question is on page 18. You have overseas personnel, how that is comprises a large portion, the headcount, and then you talked about some other STP, and you are going to cut down on headcount. So for the domestic resources in Japan, you must reduce it in one way or another. So I wonder how you are going to reduce the fixed cost in Japan, and what about resource allocation going forward? I'd like to hear your plans on that. That is all from me. Answer. So 180 on page 17, we are reducing domestic headcount by 20%. Now, I'm talking about overall here. So this is Hitachi Limited and Hitachi Group, and then, the companies that cooperate with the business. The total is 100, and we're cutting down by 20%. So that's the overall total. And the other point is that in terms of service business, we are creating a new service business headquarters, and this is different from the team that's handling conventional products. So this is the so-called social innovation business, global. I talked about creating different platforms in the North America, and then the other is the symbiosis. Which is the Symbiotic Autonomous and Decentralization Promotion Division. So we need to develop a platform, but in order to develop a platform, we need to actually go to the customer site to experience there. So we are going to allocate 40 out of 100 of the conventional members there, so that they can focus on the service business, which is platform development. And we will also continue to develop service personnel in here as well. So that's a portfolio shift. So we are increasing overseas, but overseas is 760 billion. That's still not very much. In fact, Hitachi Consulting and HDS, that together, I think they have about 650 or 700 people. But unless we change the sales and marketing portfolio, Hitachi as a whole has different know-how, core technologies, expertise. So we need to leverage that, and we are providing solution proposals to the customers. And we will be developing these different solutions as platforms. So that's the sort of model we're trying to build. So in the 24,500 people right now in overseas, this includes the companies we have acquired. So this is the platform business people. So we will continue to increase on the overseas. But in Japan, we have people who are linked to products. And so, young people, because for young people, perhaps we will allocate them in and outside of the company because there's a great need for IT resources. So maybe we may convert some of the people into different business to other businesses. So in that way, we will be reducing 20% and allocate 40% in the service business.
質問ございませんでしょうか。じゃあそちらの角の方お願いします。
Any other questions? Question. So this is related to the previous question. Hitachi overall is improving, but looking at the past 20 years, the information and telecommunication system is not improving that significantly. So Saito-san, I'm sure you are aware of this. But 2020, when we look at 2020, it may be difficult. The ones that you have acquired now are okay, but the service, network, infrastructure, platform may disappear in cloud. So, for example, in the information telecommunications you're taking in, but doing away with information telecommunication and maybe bring to social innovation. Maybe this is a right way in order to take in the frontline operation. And right now, Hitachi value is high. So Huawei or other Chinese manufacturers, Hitachi's telecommunication and platform hardware business, you can sell to maybe Chinese players. Maybe that is a possibility. What do you think about that? Please, thank you. Answer. First, regarding platform, server, storage, software, the traditional platform products, what will happen to them? I also have the same sense of crisis. This digitization is progressing in the world. And this is conspicuous in telecommunication. Telecommunication infrastructure is valueless. And therefore, the investment is declining and we're in trouble. But service model is growing. And so infrastructure or product per se is going to commoditize. So the current team will use the current technology. IoT requires IT technology. And so from IT perspective, developing solutions and making this into a platform is required because they cannot just do things on their own. That's my image. So service platform or innovation platform, that's what I call this. So the social innovation platform will utilize IT. So that's what I mentioned earlier. So we make a transformation towards 2020. Well, 2020 may be okay, but 2030, the current platform format will not be hardware. It will be more a service-type platform and will be deployed elsewhere. I agree. And another point, to break down the information telecommunication and take them into other departments. Yes, that's one way to go. But IT, do we have to have this in one platform when we try to do many things? If things are in vertical independently, then it will may not work. So pure play, dedicated, like SAP, Oracle package, software, that is one. So IoT or data utilization platform that everyone can use need to be developed commonly and provide this in the cloud. And this is being developed now. So infrastructure, mission critical infrastructure is where we should do business in IT, innovation platform development. So vendors and manufacturers, we are a comprehensive electronics company. So I think that is the way we should pursue. So the business that we took in is because platform cannot be realized without SEs. So power and transportation and finance and industry, they're all put together. So we have horizontal and vertical flow to increase the service capability and aggregate the service to the service business. In 20, 30 years time, 2020, 2030, we don't know if the business will remain as is. After we see this form of the platform, we will decide on what best we can do. Now, the selling our business to other players. Well, disposal or selling is one option in our selection and concentration policy. But hardware business disposition, companies sell their engineers too. But then, as we see digitization, IoT, technology will be lost. We are afraid of that. Once we set the next direction, the IoT, digitization, what we need to do in the society, once we have a clear vision, then we can concentrate our engineers there, and the traditional business will be sold at the same time. So maybe we will sell business in the near future, but we don't know. It's about the timeline question. So resource is concentrated to information and telecommunication, and then you distribute them to other businesses once again. And the timing, I think it's too late if it's beyond 2020. Too late. So 2017, 2018, towards 2018, numbers are not in the slide, but
any other question? Then the gentleman in the back of the room. So question. My question is related to the earlier questions, but so specifically, what sort of structural reform are you going to carry out with the platform business? You're spending 10 billion to reduce 10 billion. So first of all, for server business, so domestic market, you see increase of via servers, but then Unix, mainframe, will not disappear. Probably they'll continue to survive, persistent. So what are you going to do with them? And you talked about selection and concentration. So what are you going to pick and what are you going to reduce? So that's the server business I have. And then the second question is about telecommunication. So virtualization or software-defined SDN, that's just yet to start. And you will have an increase in the value of controller and then hardware value will decrease. So you're doing switches as well. So how are you going to slice this out? How are you going to separate that? So that's the other question. Answer. So maybe Kitano is here. So let our CEO, Mr. Kitano, answer this. My name is Kitano, and I'm responsible for platform business. So in terms of structural reform of platform business, particularly the question was about servers, was true. So in Intel architecture, this is where we see concentration, and we do not see much growth in Unix. But then, as you see, Unix and mainframes are continuing to be used, so we need to make sure that we meet these needs. But in terms of IA, even though it is growing, we see a lot of activities in different places. We see ODM direct, and it's true that the way that it's being used is different. So to cover all products from up to down, to go from all kinds of sorts of grades, it's not the time for us to have the full lineup. So for customers, if they say cloud is sufficient, then we don't need to have detailed lineup of products. And for clouds that don't, customers that don't want cloud, we need to provide enough products to them. So we need to have variation of the products, and we need to realign our product lineup. And that's how we will carry out the structural reform. In terms of software, license type of model, I guess this will probably continue. But some will use it as cloud, some use it as open source. So we see active flow in that direction. So do we need to have a full lineup or not? Again, we will need to consolidate and streamline as necessary. In terms of telecommunications, as you say, as software-defined, or there's a lot of different activities and in terms of, we have a general purpose server, and then they try to realize or virtualize with software. So this is becoming greater in demands. So in that direction process, where do we want to keep? That's, where our focus will be. That is all from me. In terms of question, so telecommunications, can you be more elaborate on, where you want to focus on, concentrate on? Answer. Well, Hitachi is not doing all telecommunications. I mean, you said it, but we're not that wide in our activities. And in fact, we were maybe spreading ourselves too much. So, for example, in terms of critical network or key network, as for electric network, I think we will see selection and disregard of reductions. In terms of access network, in terms of investment, I think we've done investment. We don't plan to invest it much anymore. So I think for services, we will see increased use of software. So that's where we think we should convert to. If I may supplement, answer. In the structural reform, IoT team is in the platform team. And this is because the current TMS, virtualization, traffic management, the teams that do those technologies, we have added them into server software business. So they utilize telecom technology. And so, for example, previously, the products that was delivered to NTT or KTTI, that will be shrunk, that will be reduced. So the conventional telecom technology, where would that be leveraged? When you think about that, I think we have to look at the use of big data, including Pentaho, because there's telecom there. And when you talked about real time, telecom is something you can't avoid, and that's where we want to shift our resources. I think that's the direction. That's the move. So telecom, it seems as though we're doing all sorts of business, and what do we want to do? So, we think we can use it somewhere else, so let's just put it together in another place. That's our way of reforming. And so what about 10 billion? What are we going to do with that 10 billion? In terms of telecom, the product business, we do need to restructure and reduce expenses. And we will bring it into a structure that is appropriate for its type of business, and we will try to reduce the negative. And then on the SC team, which was doing telecom carrier business, I would say maybe they were doing 30% of the business. That portion will be integrated into social business, and they will do IoT and other infrastructure. They will be converted to that, and then this business will become positive. So that would be part of the 10 billion. So IT platform, to start off with, in the structural reform. So we will streamline. There's an area which we will streamline, and then we have, which is this platform, and then we have the telecom where it will be streamlined, but then we will have a conversion of some of the telecom business, which will be into a different business. I can't give you the breakdown, but that's the general contents of 10 billion.
Question. In the US, HDS is taking the lead to develop the business. In the US, IBM is having difficulty, but cloud platform is being established and the application is being developed. So the industry structure is different from Japan. So how do you see this? From your viewpoint, the Japanese market's cloud impact and the cloud impact in the US market. If you could educate me, please. Answer. Amazon is growing in Japan, and we feel that we are moving in a direction as follower. But unless there's deregulation, we won't be able to use it freely. So maybe we will go to a certain point and then maybe stop there. So social innovation business is now centered around North America because the shift to cloud and service will be centered on the US. Social innovation business unit is established in North America to move this business forward. That's our current thinking. If it's closed, then cloud, if it's just cloud platform, we cannot win. So HDS now has solution and services and acquiring Pentaho and Oxshare because we want to start from upper service. Because this part is important for the customers, and we want them to leave it in our hands. It's Fidelite, Amazon, Salesforce, Microsoft, they all use. But this cloud, we will provide the cloud, like federated. A North American HDS team is trying to do that. So cloud service is service integration. That's the word I use. Various services are integrated, but we can be relied, trusted, so that we can do everything for the customer. That's what we have to have. And we need people who can make that happen. So the shift to cloud will progress. And so cloud platform or the upstream, GE predicts. Start from the upstream and capture the customers. These models will accelerate. So that's what we are trying to do the business structure for in the entire group.
So time is up. So we would like to end the Information Telecommunication Systems Business explanation and presentation. Thank you very much for your kind attention.